before we start practicing, we need to set up the workspace. And the first thing to start with is the ratio of the wheel height to the chair height. These two parameters are very important. And I can't give you a specific number. The height of the wheel should be 63.5 centimeters, but the height of the chair is something else. Because we are all different, we have different heights, and that's why we will build everything else based on our height. So what we need to understand first is that our body has a center of gravity, and it is located 4 fingers down from the navel. So what we need to understand first is that our body has a center of gravity, and it is located 4 fingers down from the belly button. So my center of gravity is located somewhere around here. And this center of gravity, it should be positioned slightly above the surface of the wheel head. That's not always the case. Sometimes it happens that we, for example, work with a large volume of clay. For example, I need to center 10 kilograms. In that case, I raise my center of gravity significantly higher. So I can sit like this and make the most effective use of my body weight. And the opposite situation. If we need to make some really small pieces from 200 grams of clay, we need to sit through several sessions. It definitely makes sense to lower the chair so that our center of gravity is at the same level, or even a bit lower than the surface of the wheel head. It definitely makes sense to lower the chair so that our center of gravity is at the same level, or even lower than the surface of the wheel head. And in that case, we can sit for a long time with a straight back, or even lower than the surface of the wheel head. And in that case, we can sit for a long time with a straight back, and working at about this level won't require any significant physical strength. A lot of physical strength. And we also won't need to use all our body weight to center 200 grams of clay. Agreed. And we primarily rely on our build and on practicality. Our build and on practicality. The height of the wheel is determined by the height of our knee. So my foot is currently on the floor and my knee is almost at the same level. This cup is raised a little. Plus, if I put my foot on the pedal, it will rise significantly. So there are about 8 centimeters here. That's more than enough for me to be able to push my hand against my leg and use the lever system to apply pressure to the clay. Body weight. The second leg can't go on the pedal because we have only one pedal. That's why I have this brick here. You can use a brick, you can use a stack of blocks, find the right height, put it under your foot, or even a piece of clay. It doesn't matter. The most important thing is to raise your foot to a certain level. Here I put my foot on the brick and we can see that our knee levels are now the same. They rise above this surface. And now I can throw effectively. Accordingly, the height of the chair, we adjust it in such a way that this line is horizontal to the floor. Approximately, right now it's going down a little, but overall it's not critical. So we make it horizontal. And this way we can see that our center of gravity, right now, it has leveled out and is starting to rise a bit above the surface of the wheel head. Sometimes it happens that you need to sit a little higher, locally, for example. You can take a stack of blocks and put it underneath. And you see, I'm already sitting now and I have a horizontal line here. The center of gravity has risen. I can work with a more serious volume. Clay, you can use a cushion. In general, we start with this, and then you'll adjust your body position relative to the wheel to suit yourself. Do you need to keep your foot on the pedal? That's a very good question. And I'll say yes, because when we keep our foot on the pedal, we can adjust the speed while working. Sometimes, for example, when I'm lifting the clay, I can speed up a bit. And when I'm lowering it, I slow down a little. If my pedal is off to the side, then I'll have to do something extra with my foot, and that will be really distracting. Plus, there are times, is there some kind of emergency situation. For example, something suddenly happens and you need to stop the wheel immediately. And your pedal is located who knows where. So, of course, keep your foot on the pedal. Hold it more professionally and ultimately comfortably. But at first it might be that you leaning on your knee can change the speed, yes, accidentally. Just while working, your foot can spontaneously speed up the rotation of the wheel or slow it down. And at first, this can be distracting. So what I suggest we still go with this option, but if it's stressful for you, give it a try. Maybe you'll manage and not worry about anything at all. But if this really distracts you, then at the stage of setting your hands, at this stage, at first it makes sense to move the pedal to the side until you make sure you have enough height here. And then we work. So we set the speed we need, move the foot off the pedal, and then we work. Another important point is the position of your back for us. Naturally, when we sit, our back is in a straight position like this. But when we lean forward, it can bend like this, and tension can build up here, which will cause discomfort. We will get very tired quickly and may later experience pain in our back. To avoid this, I suggest leaning your back without bending it. So I have to lean forward now anyway. I can keep my back straight and lean forward. I rested my elbows on my legs. I'm in contact with the clay and my back is straight right now. And I can basically work while keeping my back straight. Another option is when I lean forward in the same way, but I bend my back. And that's a completely different story with completely different sensations. And I suggest we still use the first option for leaning. It's the more correct way and will help maintain the health of your back. First of all,